Nothing is too small to not be treated with excellence. Be excellent in whatever you do, show up with integrity, because whatever is in your hands today can unlock your next level tomorrow. And that the way that you steward where you are in the beginning, that back seat, is going to lead you on your center stage. It's going to be the way that you steward when you're front and center and you're popular and, or getting
Yes.
Charlene's autograph. Miss Charlene, I need your autograph. Whatever you do today is going to determine how you treat your tomorrow. So those are my three: listening to the whisper, starting before you're ready, and honoring the assignment.
Oh my gosh, like you can like keep on going for about 30 more minutes, but we know
No.
we gotta go. Greetings, and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. I am your host, Coach Charlene, and I am so delighted today to have the one and only Chinelo with me today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Charlene. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, I'm so
Thank you.
excited to have you here. I'm gonna have you tell us who you are in just a moment, but maybe I'll just set just a tiny bit of context before we get started. When the Moment Chooses You was birthed in 2022, July, and it really was birthed out of the triple pandemic, I call it, in 2020. And so I found my voice, and then I began to start sharing my story of what I had encountered as I moved up the ranks. And so it just literally became this catalyst, and it kind of sort of went viral in a sense because my story began to resonate. And then I was able to use my story to bring healing. And then I started listening to so many other people's stories. I was like, oh my God, I would love to hear other people's stories. So that's why I love having trailblazers like yourself on the show. So though there are moments that call us into them. They call us to disrupt, transform ourselves, our systems that we work for. There's those types of moments. So I love unpacking those moments. So that's kind of what we're going to do here with Miss Chinelo. So
Yeah.
why don't we start and you tell us like who you are, how your
Mhm.
nursing journey started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. First of all, I have to say that I like the word that you used, birthed, that when the moment chooses you was birthed. And the reason why birth is such an important word is because as moms, we understand that birthing
Yes.
is different from putting something out there. There is a process that goes with birthing, right? You carry this baby with you for months and months, and then the birthing process is wrought with contractions and pain and labor, and sometimes complications, right? And so when you say birth, it really sheds light to what you had to go through in order to bring when the moment chooses you. And so I applaud you for it because a lot of people are afraid to try just because they know that the birthing process can be so taxing and tedious. So kudos to you. I'm glad to have met
Thank
you
you.
at the conference.
Yes.
But yeah, who am I? I am Chinelo. I am a nurse practitioner, started off pediatric nursing and then migrated on to family. I'm born and raised in Nigeria. Part of that culture is that nursing was not really a respected profession, right? And I never really considered to be a nurse in the first place. I wanted to be an accountant like my mom. She was really my only frame of reference for a profession. And so when I moved to the United States, somebody was like, oh, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I quickly realized that nursing was not, well, I'm sorry, accounting was not really what I wanted. And the person was like, well, you're kind, you love people, you love children. Why don't you consider nursing? And I was like, nursing. People go to school for that. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a career. I mean, I'm just coming from Nigeria. I don't know much different, right? And so I'm starting to look into it. I'm like, all right, this kind of seems nice, whatever. I'm not really having like a deep sense of passion for it, but just kind of going with the flow. And then eventually I decided to really take it seriously and then start applying and all of that. And people were like, oh, you have to apply to multiple schools just in case you don't get in. And I'm like, if I don't get in, then I'm not supposed to be here. I just kind of threw it out there. Like it's just putting it out in the wind. And if I do get in, I'll take it for like a sign from God that maybe I am supposed to be there. So I did only apply to the one school and I got in. And the people who told me I wouldn't get in, they didn't get in. And so I
Wow.
was like, oh, maybe this is a sign and all of that. It's not always a sign, by the way. This is just how I perceived it.
Yes,
Sometimes prosperity in a certain place can actually keep you away from where you're really supposed to be. But that's a story for another
absolutely.
day, because it's
Yeah,
like,
that's a
oh,
good one too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll be like, oh, I'm doing so well here. Like, this is my path. But in reality, it's maybe not. And then you can be disillusioned and think that whatever. But I'm going too far down the rabbit hole. Anyways, went further on to pursue my bachelor's and then my master's and a fellowship program and all this good stuff. While I was doing this, I quickly realized that the nursing that I knew to be true and familiar and the people I worked with, were so brilliant. But when I watched TV, I would be seeing all these images that really did not reflect who we were accurately. And that set me on a quest to figure out what is the disconnect? Like, why is there this difference in understanding of the nursing profession? And that's when I decided to create something to where I could teach people truly what nurses do, that the work we do matters and it's valuable and it's intrinsic and it's integral to the healthcare system. You cannot do without it. A healthcare system without nurses would crumble. And I really wanted to
Absolutely.
show people that. So I would say that the moment that's who I am in a nutshell. And I guess the moment that chose me, so to speak, would be founding that platform, the Nurse on Purpose platform. And we can get more into that later. So that is who I am in a nutshell, or maybe 10 nutshells. I don't know. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
that was good. That was a really great description.
Yeah.
So you actually are a practitioner, a nurse practitioner.
Yes, I am.
Okay, are you currently working as a practitioner?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
I do a couple of things. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't work for a traditional company right now. I'm just working for myself, and I'm working with my
Wonderful.
husband as well. So yeah.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, that's kind of where I'm going to head. I'm going to head in the direction of when you're on a regular trajectory and then something shifts. Just like you just told us about the passion that kind of came alive because you didn't see how nursing was being portrayed and you wanted to do something different. So, walk us through that journey and tell us a little bit more about your wonderful podcast, which I absolutely love. You
Thank
guys,
you.
she is the bomb and
I
she
don't know
has,
about that.
yes, she is. She is. You know, we never want to say that about ourselves, but girl,
Oh,
own your brilliance.
thank you. I
But
appreciate
it's called Nurse on Purpose, and I absolutely love it. So tell us about how did that come to being, and then also walk us through the challenge of doing something like that. Like you were just talking about the birthing process, which I absolutely love. That's why I went into labor and delivery and
it.
everything. But it's so parallel to birthing a dream, to birthing something that God has given you to do. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Nurse on Purpose was really the idea was birthed. Again, let me use that word because it wasn't a season where I was trying to figure out what my purpose was and what I was supposed to be doing with my life, either through nursing or whatever other means. And that name just kind of fell. I actually made a video about it. The video is called How the Vision Was Born. That name literally just dropped in my heart and I didn't know where it came. I was like, okay, maybe this is God because I was in a moment of praying. And Nurse on Purpose really was a name that to me signified that you are on a path, and nursing was not a mistake necessarily. It was a pathway to wherever it is that God is taking you to. Purpose is not static, it moves, it evolves. One day I may be doing something different, and it doesn't mean that nursing all of a sudden became an error. It just means that it's a continuation of that purpose. And so Nurse on Purpose, the name was birthed from seeking purpose, and wanting to figure out, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? What do I do here? And God began to put that burden of nursing representation in the media, how we're portrayed in the media, on my heart. And so that's when I really started doing more research. I found people like Sandy Summers, who is pioneering this work. And I even I bought her book. So she reached out to me. And so we kind of connected on that way. And I was like, I love what you're doing. It feels like we are kin spirits and this is what I should be doing. I don't know how to get started. And so I built a website. All of this stuff was just by myself. I built my own website by myself. And then I eventually started the YouTube channel last year. started that channel, and I was just talking, kind of talking head videos about, I would show some programs or some shows or some clips from movies, and then I would talk about what was wrong with the nursing portrayal in that scene, and just really talk about what we could do better. And then I would give advice to first year students, second year students, and on like that until early last 2020, actually, well, yeah, early last year, I guess. Late last year, I'm so sorry. Late last year, so 2024, November, I got this inclination and this kind of unction to begin talking to other nurses. So it wouldn't just be me talking all the time. And I
Hmm.
was like, Lord, what you trying to do? First of all, starting the YouTube channel was a big challenge for me. I didn't want to start it. I don't like being in the media, which is ironic because my entire thing is about media and media portrayals. I was like, I don't want to be in, in the front. I'm just not that person. So I shied away from it for a little bit. And then I started to do the research. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what mic to get. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have lights. I didn't even have a laptop. Okay.
Right.
I mean, I had a laptop. It was like a 9-year-old laptop, which I just used to check my emails. But of course, that wasn't going to suffice for the amount of information I would be needing to put on this new laptop. So I had to go out and get everything brand new. And, my husband helped me out, and we didn't have a desk. I didn't have a chair. I had nothing. I'm talking about nothing. I
Well,
started,
this is good though, Chinelo. This is good because I guarantee you there's someone out there that are stuck because they don't have all the things
yeah,
yet. But you started where you
yeah,
were and you
yeah.
just did the thing.
I just went ahead and I started my first couple of months of recording was on my phone. You would never know it. I did all
Yeah.
my recording on my phone until November of 2024, and during like Black Friday when I eventually bought an actual like camera. But before that, I was just using my phone and this little lavalier mic, and it was
Yes.
like the cheapest investment I made, and I just continued doing it. And so I decided, okay, I dilly dallied for like 3 weeks. I didn't really dilly dally, to be honest, with the podcasting. I was like, I'm gonna wait for Black Friday sale so I can buy this stuff cheap because there's a lot of stuff to buy.
Right.
So during that 3 weeks, I'm like, oh Lord, what am I gonna do? How do I go about it? How do I even know people to reach them? Like, what do I do in this situation? And so those are some of the barriers and the setbacks that can keep people
Yes.
from actually moving forward because they're thinking about like A to Z when they just need to take the first step, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And so
But you
that,
said something important though. I want to
yeah,
kind of go back to it. You said you didn't really want to be in front of the camera,
mm-mm.
right?
I
And
still
so
don't.
right. So look, this is like really amazing when you said that because what I want people to hear in that the journey to obedience is terrifying, but you have to go anyway. And
Mm,
so I'm gonna just share just a little story. When I started, so I started doing lives on Facebook way long time ago when it first came out. And so God told me to do live videos. I'm like, I don't want to talk in front of the camera. Like, what's
yeah,
that all about? And
yeah,
oh my God, I got obedient and I started doing it. And then someone reached out to me and they were at the point of suicide. They had pills right there, getting ready to take pills and die. And then she messaged me because she said my video kept popping up. And so she finally listened to what I was saying. And then we connected, and thank God she's still here today. But that was like right
yeah.
when that revolution. So imagine if I
If
wouldn't have been obedient
obedient,
to do the thing. So I'm so glad you pointed that out because
yeah,
sometimes it's not going to feel like you want to do it, but your
yeah,
spirit, man, wants to do it.
wants to do it.
Yeah. So thank you for pulling that out because I think that's such an
Yeah.
important nugget.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the part of obedience to God, because oftentimes God is asking us to do something and it does not end with us. It's not about
No,
us, at least
no.
not alone. Our obedience is tied to the destinies and the lives of other people. So
Yes.
you really need to like bootstrap and get up and go when you remember, like, this is not just my journey. There are so
Yes.
many people who I don't even know who they are, but they will be helped by my obedience. Their lives will be changed by my obedience. If I don't do this thing, their destinies have the potential to die. That lady had the
Yeah.
potential to die if
Right.
you didn't do it. But you would be thinking, oh Lord, I don't want to do it because I don't have a mic. Girl, forget the mic. Just like
Yeah.
talk,
Just talk.
you know? For real, like do it because God is depending on man. He can't
Yes.
come down from heaven and do it. He's depending on us. He wants to use us as his vessels on earth. And if we stay disobedient or complacent or delay or procrastinate, we are significantly impacting not just us, our generation, or the legacy that we leave, but the lives of others that could have been helped by our obedience. So love that you said that word obedience. I feel like that's been the catchphrase for my entire life is the word
Yeah.
obedience
Well,
because I've
because it's
seen that,
tough.
yeah, it's very hard to obey. And I've seen how good it can be when I obeyed, and I've seen the consequences when I didn't obey. And those consequences, they ripple. They
Yes.
ripple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't
you're
remember
bringing
where I
out.
was, but I'm
Well,
gonna keep.
it's okay, but you brought such you're bringing out so many like internal things that like
Mm,
we need when we're trying to birth something, when we're trying to get things done. So
mm,
I just love like everything that you're talking about, honestly, because really you were just pointing out like, you know what, I did what I needed to do just to be obedient, and that was rewarded at some point, and so look at all the lives that you're impacting now. So,
no,
and then here's another thing that you said, which I thought was very significant. You started questioning yourself about, okay, who's going to be on this podcast?
mm,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that, we
mm,
had to make the ask. Like that was
mm,
a big barrier for me because I'm like,
mm.
come on, like
Now you have to ask
Charlene,
me.
nobody knows you. Like who's coming on the podcast? And so I had to like really get like deliverance from self
Yeah.
so that I can know that it wasn't about me. It was about the audience that was going to be attached to your voice. And so I love that you're like dropping all of these like gems that
Yeah.
if
And guess
people,
what? We're only in June, July, but I
yeah,
am booked for the rest of the year. I don't have
wow,
any room anymore. Like I can't even take any if anyone who's coming is next year.
yeah,
Next year,
see,
January 2026. And so the fear that I would have allowed to limit me and magnify fear, because sometimes we do that. We are believers of God, but we magnify fear. And God is like, sis, I'm like king over that. I got you. Like I
yeah.
rule the earth. You don't have to worry about that. But we take our fear and we worship our fear versus looking at God and giving him that fear. So, because of that obedience, like I have booked the most amazing guests, you being one of them. And I've learned so much more than I even anticipated. So it's been a fantastic journey and it's only been 7 months.
That is amazing. So I have a question. I'm going to kind of shift it just a little bit in case, because
Yeah.
a lot of people that watch my podcast sometimes they're kind of in this place where they're stuck. They may be burned out, and they may be very frustrated with the profession or with their work. And so you seem like you have so much wisdom. So I would love to speak into someone's life. If you could speak into someone's life, if they're stuck, if they're feeling like, they're going to work, but it feels like a rat race. I'm just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, no joy, no satisfaction, no fulfillment. So what would you speak to that person?
And I don't want to be, kind of lax about this because I understand that that burden can really overwhelm people and really drive them into a place of emotional, not just burnout, but depression, right? And that's what burnout can look like. It can look like you have a fog, like a cloud, and you just don't know how to advance. You just don't know how to pursue, how to break away from that. But one of the things that I would say is that sometimes God puts those things, that burden in your heart because he's trying to redirect you. So don't always look at, oh, I'm so burned and I'm so tired as negative. It's not a good thing that you're in that situation. But what you need to do is kind of like dig in deep into yourself and say, there's a reason why I'm feeling this way. There's a reason for this dissatisfaction, right? There's a reason why I don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel validated here. I feel like you're just dealing with all these emotions and it's going to swallow me up. Take that emotion and ask yourself some really important questions like, what am I really meant to be doing in my life? What is it that gives me intense and immense joy, right? What is it that if I were doing it today, I would feel on top of the world, regardless of where the money would come from or what people would say or what people would think? Oh, you left such a wonderful profession that was financially viable for you to do something else. What would it be that you would do? And I would say, don't wait for anyone's permission. Don't wait for anyone to validate you before you do it. Go do it with or without the say so of others, because regardless of what happens, like these people will get behind you. You're responsible for your own future, right? Nobody's going to listen to you later on when you blame others and say, oh, I could have done this, but because this
Right.
person, I didn't do it. Nobody's going to listen to you, right? So you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your generation. I always think in a generational light because I
No,
have
that's
a
good.
child, and I think of how do I want her to view me? Do I want her to see me as this person who's always tired and burnt out with life and didn't do anything about it? Or do I want her to see me as somebody who was strong and took control of my life and my future, and set that example for her? I would also say that practically speaking, find a community. Find people that you can walk alongside you supportively, of course. Mentorship is also very important. It's a tool that I don't think we use enough. Find some coaching, find some guidance. There are people who have been where you are. Nothing is new under the sun, right?
That's right.
There are coaches, there are people who have talked to your coach, Charlene. There are people who are actual nurse coaches who can guide you to say, maybe you're just not in the right fit. Maybe you don't have to leave nursing altogether, but maybe you need to be in a different place. Maybe you need to be in informatics. Maybe you need to be in clinical research. Maybe you need to work from home. There's so many things that you can do within nursing, and maybe you don't need to be in nursing. Like it could just be that, but then work through that with somebody, with a coach. If you're a person of prayer, do it through prayer. God will speak to you when you give yourself and your time to him. So that's what I would say. But above everything, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts.
Yes.
Do not think, oh, maybe this is just how life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be stressful. Work is supposed to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. But don't silence that inner voice and don't quench that fire through inaction, because that desire is there for a reason. And like you
Yes.
said, your obedience and your purpose, are what is going to fuel it. And it's connected to the destinies of others. So I know I've talked a whole lot and said a whole
Oh
lot,
my
but
gosh.
the most important thing is be true to yourself and do not allow what you're feeling to die without action, because that desire, that fire, that thing that you feel is there for a reason.
Oh my God. You just like, oh my gosh. That was so delicious. That was so delicious. Okay. I hope you
Not
guys
delicious.
heard that. No, I'm serious. Like, I hope you tasted that. Like, I'm not talking about gobble. I'm talking about taste it, because what you said, Chinelo, is so profound that anybody that's stuck, they would come out of their circumstances. First of all, the biggest part, which really resonates with me, is you said the, I call it unrest. The unrest is there for a reason. That irritation, that all of that is there for a reason. And you just like totally like read me before I left my
Mm,
organization, because I was one of those people that was stuck in the comfort zone. I knew that I was having a whisper. I knew God was talking to me about, okay, it's time to do something else. It's time to do. But you know what? The comfort zone made me stay where I was for years. But what I recognized when I finally said yes last year, oh my God, when I got quiet after early retirement, I couldn't create. I couldn't do what I used to do, because guess why? I
yeah.
was misaligned for so long that I had developed soul pain. My soul was in agony. And so I had to go through a healing process, and I made myself be quiet for a whole month so that that healing can take place. And so I was able to chip away at all of the striving, all of the trying to be this and being this for this person and that person. And I really got into being true to who I was and who God called me to be, which helped me to be where I am now. So you said like a mouthful. That was like a sermon in 5 minutes. So thank you so much. That I know that came from your spirit, and I know that there's someone on the other side of the screen, right in that place of decision, in the valley of decision, and she has given you practical tools that you can use to get out of that situation because you're needed, you're valuable, you're amazing, and we want you to do the things that's in your heart to do. So follow that whisper. So thank you for that. Girl, we have been like all over the place.
I love that you said you listen. There's one thing you said that really struck me, and it's getting silent because you don't hear a whisper in noisy places. You
No.
need to be silent. You need to take some time away, and it's so important that you said that. So thank you for you know allowing people to understand. I know people think I'm so busy. I'm a mom. I have 6 kids. Like it's never quiet.
Yeah.
We'll take the time, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, be alone. It really does help to hear that whisper.
Yeah, and that's literally what happened. And then what else happened is the old adage of productivity and value was crushed under that weight because my intrapersonal block was saying that my busyness is tied to my worth.
Mm,
And so while I was quiet, God was like, look, you got it twisted, sister. Your value is in your essence of who I ordained for you to be.
amazing.
So don't you dare try to tie that to that because, in the profession, you start striving. Okay, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this. And you just keep going and going. And then you get to the end of the rope, you're like, oh, I'm still not happy. And so it was like such an amazing, amazing time of self awareness and regaining my power back, stripping away that which didn't serve me well so that I can be who He ordained me to be in this season. Jumping out of the comfort zone because that comfort zone is very cozy and
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
but
Nothing grows
obedience,
there.
huh?
Nothing grows there.
Nothing grows there. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. I'll try to get back on task, but this is the task. I love when we can just like
Yeah.
flow.
Yes.
Chanelo,
I
you
love
are just absolutely amazing. So I'm
Thank
enjoying
you.
every
So
part
are
of
you.
this. So let's talk about, I'd love to like unpack 3 wisdom gems. And I know you have dropped so much wisdom already, but I know you got some more to drop.
Okay. Okay.
So what would you
Wisdom
say?
gems. My
So if I
goodness.
said what's Chanelo's top three, what are your top 3 wisdom gems that you can give somebody to give them hope so that they can move on?
Well, two of them I feel we've already kind of hit. The first one would be listen to the whisper, right? That whisper that you talked about, listen to it. Listen to the discomfort, right? Don't ignore it. Make room for it. Allow the discomfort to grow and be amplified. Don't shut it out. Don't quieten it. There is a reason why it's there. I believe in seasons and timing so much, right? Speaking of like my moment that chose me, I feel like there is another moment that is choosing me. I'm not quite able to talk fully about it now, but that ability to hear that came from being quiet and listening to the whisper. Purpose is going to speak softly, so you need to make space to hear it. The second gem I would say is start before you feel completely ready. Go
Yes.
ahead and do it. Go ahead and just lunge out there into the deep. It's not going to feel pretty, but clarity often comes after action, not before. That's what I've realized. The door to your destiny is motion activated. That's one thing that I always say to people. It is motion activated. The door is not going to open. You know, the doors that open in the supermarket when
Yes.
you're
You
walking
got to
in?
move.
It's not
Yeah.
going to open if you don't move. And there's like several doors, mind you, because God has great and mighty plans for each one of us. So it's not just one door. There's several doors. It's ever evolving. It's ever, transforming. So you need to keep on going. And when you go through the first door, door 10 is not going to open. You got
That's
to go
right.
through just one and then two and then three and then four. Because I feel like if we saw the whole picture, like how many of us would keep going? We'll be like, all right, now.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of us would be like, okay, you can shut that door. I'm going to just go right back to my little comfort zone and put a blanket over my head. But you need to just go ahead and get started because when you start, providence will begin to come. You won't even
Yes.
understand how this is happening, but it only happened because you made that move. If you didn't move, this other things would not have come. And I'm sure you can relate with what I'm saying, even though I'm being arbitrary, like things and place and thing. But I know you understand that when you take that first step, like say, for instance, God is calling you to build a business, right? And you're like, well, how am I going to start? How do I need all these investors? I don't have any angels. I don't have any venture capitalists. And God is like, just go ahead and start building, right? And next thing you start building, and then you attend an event for business builders, networking event. And there you meet somebody who is like, oh, do you know that there are some places where you can get some grant money? And then you're like, oh, really? Okay, I'll take that information down. And all of a sudden, you're starting to find things and clues and hints and help that you never would have known if you didn't take the first step. So please, please,
Absolutely.
please start before you're ready, because that's the essence of faith. If you were prepared, if you had it all together, then faith would really not be required, right? But faith is a thing that makes bigger things happen. My third thing would be honor the assignment. Start small. I know we're believers. And, there's a part of the Bible that talks about don't despise the days of humble beginnings, right?
Yes.
Because the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, right? This is
Yes.
talking about like rebuilding the temple and all this stuff. But God is not just interested in the grandness of the completed product. He's interested in when he says, on your marks, get set. He's interested in that go. He's interested to see, he delights to see you start the work. He doesn't just want to see you complete. He's not just waiting at the finish line, like, all right, hurry up. When you get here, I'll be here. No, he is in it at the beginning. He's cheering you on the entire way. And he is right there at the end for you to complete it. And he gives you a big hug. Where you are now, nothing is too small to not be treated with excellence. Be excellent in whatever you do, show up with integrity, because whatever is in your hands today can unlock your next level tomorrow. And that, the way that you steward where you are in the beginning, that back seat, is going to lead you on your center stage. It's going to be the way that you steward when you're front and center and you're popular and, getting
Yes.
Charlene's autograph. Miss Charlene, I need your autograph. Whatever you do today is going to determine how you treat your tomorrow. So those are my three: listening to the whisper, starting before you're ready, and honoring the assignment.
Oh my gosh, like you can like keep on going for about 30 more minutes, but we know we gotta go. But Chinelo, let me do this. So is there anything that you want to tell people about your podcast? You have any offerings or anything? Go
Yeah.
right ahead.
Absolutely. So, my podcast is Nurse on Purpose. I'm on Spotify, I'm on YouTube. You can obviously watch on video or you can listen just to the audio. Nurseonpurpose.org is my website. If you would like to be a guest, you can go on there and you can fill out the form that says be my guest on nurseonpurpose.org. And you can just fill out the form, tell me why you would like to be a guest. And, I will talk with you and just kind of review that. Like I said, you're not airing anyone again till January, but I'm still taking appointments to have recordings. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, everywhere, Nurse on Purpose.
Awesome. Oh my God. It has been like so fulfilling to have you on the podcast. Like my spirit is like overflowing right now. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. I'm so excited of all the lives that you're touching. And I'm so thankful to God for your yes, because your yes is going to impact so many lives on this show in particular. So thank you so much for your obedience and continue the journey. You're always welcome to come back and share updates of
Yes.
whatever else you're doing. So you
Yay!
have an open invitation.
Thank you, Miss Charlene. I appreciate
Okay.
it being here.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone. Talk to you soon. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hey, I want to invite you to join my Substack community. I actually have a free newsletter that I send you every month when you join. There's also another level to it. If you're a paid subscriber, you actually get a copy of my book, When the Moment Chooses You, and signed by me, as well as the access to a Q&A segment that we do and other live shows that I'll be doing. I'm also going to be doing a special Awaken Align class for those who want to really pursue their destiny and seize those moments that are in their life. So join that community. I'm trying to move things over there so I can have more contact with people. So I'll see you over there. I'll put the link down to join. And basically, it's only like $10 a month and $8 a month if you do the yearly subscription. So I look forward to seeing you over in that community. Thank you. And I love and appreciate all of you. Bye bye.